G'day, everyone. How's all going? Oh, how boring are Saturdays when there's no footy on? Dead set. Bring on footy season. That's all I'll say. Dear, oh dear. It should be raining outside. Should be pissing down, actually. And, you usually sit back and watch the footy on a Saturday afternoon. Not anymore. And I can't stand cricket. Well, I love the test match cricket, but that 2020 stuff doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. Lukey Alexander. Michael, how are you? Ty Fenwick, g'day, mate. How are you? Ball bags. G'day, mate. Hope you're well. Pete McMurtry. Hey, Pete, we'll do those whips, mate, too. I forgot to get back to you about that. I apologise for that. So thank you very much for the offer there. Oh, here's it. I froze another sunspot off yesterday. I just felt it then when I scratched my face there. Speaking of sunspots, that bloody, I'll be glad to get the stitches out of my foot next week, I tell you. Don't get stitches in the top of your foot, everyone. Every time you take a step, they feel like they're going to rip apart because you're pulling on them. Bloody horrible feeling. Raining here in Sydney, Michael's saying. Yeah, I think it's raining up there. We had a couple of dry months, which is always fairly dry up here. I don't mind a bit of the dry. You get a bit of reprieve from the rain, but yeah, she bucketed down yesterday. Went up to Cairns yesterday, and it was belting down. I had the Caravan behind me too. I had to take the Caravan up to Jayco. I put a new, what's it called, a valve in. The mains water wasn't coming through to the sink. The brass valve must have been clogged. So I bought a new one, fit it, and I obviously didn't put the bloody plastic pipes, and some of the plastic that goes into the valve was rough and worn. So they just replaced that. So to tow the Caravan up the Cairns yesterday in the belting rain. Anyway, they were done in 15 minutes. He said, yeah, mate, he just put some new plastic T-pieces on and a new bit of plastic, and she's all good to go now. $32 it cost me. I thought, wish everything was that cheap. Jenny Cameron, g'day. Mr. Bullet, g'day, mate. How are you? Hope you enjoyed my Kings Park video this morning, Mr. Bullet. Yeah, it was pretty special over there, mate, West Aussie. I love that. Another sneaky live feed. Yeah, Roachy, just a quick one, mate. Tell you why it's going to be quick. I've had some beef ribs. I went out to the South Johnston butcher yesterday and bought, because I've got good meat out there, a couple of big racks of beef ribs, heaps of meat on them. So I've had them in the slow cooker since 8 o'clock this morning. And I thought, I'll finish them off in the oven. So I got the oven on about 150, and I've wrapped them in foil and put a beautiful barbecue sauce and that over there. So they've been slow cooking in a barbecue sauce, and then I put some more barbecue sauce in the alfoil. So we'll see how they go. Beef ribs, Phil. Yes, exactly. Hey, how good is it having a King store now, Phil, in Bundaberg, mate? Good stuff. They're good stores. They really are. They've come a long way, and there's some good stuff in there. If you're just getting into camping, and for us on a budget that can't afford to go paying, lots of money for camping gear, that Kings have got some good stuff now. And my son bought a Kings fridge the other day, a 40-litre Kings fridge, put it in his boat, said it's working like a beauty, going really well. I forget how much it was fairly cheap, and it come with a cover and everything. He's got it running in the boat. It was all Anderson plugged up, ready to go, and he said it's just has not missed a beat in his boat. So that's his boat fridge now, running off a lithium battery in his boat. So when he goes out in the boat for the day, he can have cold drinks and, not have to worry about ice for the esky. And that just turns the fridge on the night before, and he's got a cold fridge that he keeps some sandwiches and everything in there. It's really good. What do you think of Cam's new van? Did you have a look through it? No, I didn't see Cam's van when I was there. I only ran into Cam at the four-wheel drive show. And then Cam and Tiff and the kids came down to Bustleton, and we had lunch and a few drinks together on Saturday lunchtime. So no, I haven't seen Cam's van. Nice looking van. I got to admit, Bart, it's a beautiful van. And Cam even mentions it in his video this morning. Chinese van, and they're heavy. They are heavy. It's $28.50 My Sirocco, guys, was 2850 ATM. That's maxed out at 2850. Cam's Tear is 2850 and goes all the way up to 3.5 ton. So they are heavy vans, very heavy vans. They're those Chinese vans, guys. They bloody, I don't know what they make them out of lead or whatever, but they are very, very heavy. Anyway, we'll see how it goes on the trip, and good on them. I know Cam had a lot of dramas with that Willow. I think they'll be glad to see the end of it. And what Cam said, he's owned Australian camper trailers and Chinese camper trailers and Chinese caravans and Australian caravans. And he said he'll take the Chinese ones every day of the week, which is, it's not good to hear that, is it? You know, I don't know. We always used to pride ourselves on building the best stuff. I don't know if we do anymore. Aussies are getting the attitude now. They just don't give a shit. No one wants to work. And it seems to be showing in the quality of our work. I don't know. It's g'day, Andy. How are you, mate? Morning over there in the UK. Don't know if it's my phone speakers or your microphone, but couple of crackles. All right, mate. Oh, I know why. Freaking hell. I'm using the Ty, thank you. Let's see if this works. I'll plug the external microphone in. So yes, it'll be the speakers on the computer will be crackly. So, Ty, I'll just get this up and running. I've plugged it in. So hopefully now, testing 1, 2, 3. How's that, everyone? I forgot to plug it in, Ty. I've got troubles with the Apple keyboard. It just plays funny games with the computer, the Apple thing. So I've had a Microsoft keyboard plugged in, and the computer doesn't play up when I use a Microsoft keyboard on an Apple thing. Work that one out. So I don't know if it's so. Ty, let me know how you go. If everyone can hear me and see me, I've plugged in the external microphone now, guys. Hopefully that's a bit better. Lukey Reed, you diddly donk, how are you? Michael saying, I found lately people don't seem to care. It just doesn't seem to be customer service anymore, and saying that. I'm the same, mate. You go into a coffee shop now, and not don't get me wrong, it's not everyone, but I go into a lot of coffee shops, cafes and that, and the young girls in there, it's like they're working under duress. It's like they don't want to be there. It was a bit like that in the prison, guys, but you can understand. Used to come into work at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning when you're going into work in the prison, and everyone's jaws would be, not jaws, everyone's bloody, what's that bloody, I don't know. Everyone just dragging the chain. No one wanted to get into work and get into it, and just negativity and all that type of stuff. You get that when you're working in a prison. It wasn't a very nice working environment, and I know why people used to drag the chain going into work and just going 12 hours with these arseholes. It's going to be a long day, and not many people used to smile at work. It used to be a bit of a miserable day most of the time. Still crackles, but sounds a lot better. All right, mate. Thanks, Phil. We'll have to work through it, mate. So you go into some cafes and that now, and it's like all the young people in there are working under duress. It's like, you just tell they don't want to be there. Well, guess what? If you want to own your own house, not that probably too many people can afford to buy a house anymore. You want to buy a car, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go on holidays, you got to bloody work, guys. And people go, it's all right for you, Buck, you're sitting back retired now. Well, I did the hard yards, everyone. I worked hard for 39 years to get where I am, which still isn't, I'm still not well off, everyone, but I've got a roof over my head. And, I own a bloody 2012 four-wheel drive, and I own a bloody house that's older than me, but I own it, and I've worked hard to get to here, guys. So you can't just have everything given to you on a plate, and that's the way It is now. I like going into a shop and, I don't know, I went in the other day. I'll show you that Akubra there. I bought myself a new Akubra. Feel like Timmy Bates, everyone, sitting in front of the computer with an Akubra on. So this is the Territory, Akubra Territory. I got it because it's got the largest brim for my fair skin and that. I needed a wide brim hat. And I thought my brains were getting bigger, guys, and my head was getting bigger. But the lady said, no, Akubras over the years do shrink when you keep them in the sun and that. And I've just found that I've got two Akubras, Dad's old one and mine, and they've shrunk, and they're just a bit tight on my head. So I went and got a 58. So she's a more comfortable fit there now. But anyway, where I was going with that story, I went into a place here in Innisfail the other day, tried to shop local, $273 for an Akubra now. They're not cheap. But I went in there and there's an older lady and a young girl in there. Anyway, it was really good service. I went in, how are you, mate? Yeah, good. And the young girl got up and she said, what are you after? I said, I'm after the Territory if you've got it. She said, yeah, we've got them. And she said, do you know what size? I said, no. So anyway, she got all the Territories. They were stacked from smallest to largest. And I said, can I try a 58? I said, I've got a 57. It's a bit tight. So anyway, I put the 58 on this one. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's it. And then she tried a 59, too big, too much movement. And just really good service from the girl. I thought it's good to go in. And I got on the local Innisfail News and Views and gave Frank Lowe and Sons a bit of a plug and, said, buddy, great service from the girls and all that type of stuff. And there should be more of it. So this is my new camping hat, guys. When I go out camping now, you'll see me in this. I don't know how Timmy Bates sits in front of a computer. How's me hair, guys? Not much of it left anymore. I don't know how Timmy sits in front of a computer with a bloody Akubra on. I can't see anything. All Aussie adventures. Yeah, tell me about it. Cross between Les Hiddens and Russell Coit. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, everyone refers to me as Russell Coit, and I have a lot of Russell Coit moments, and they seem to be getting more frequent the older I get. Work that one out. Yes. Yui Joe, g'day, Snow, you bigger head. It's your ears. Yes, I know, mate. There you go. But over $400 in the UK. Wow. Said to the lady, please tell me your Akubras are still made in Australia. She said, yes, they are, but not from Australian rabbits. Now, I heard that we used to get our rabbits from the UK, but not so. Apparently, the rabbits for the Akubras now, someone might be able to Google this, she reckons they come from Portugal. Portuguese rabbits. Can you believe that? Where do all the Aussie rabbits go? To bloody China now. We export all our rabbits to China. And if anyone remembers when I was at Texas recently, earlier this year, the old Texas rabbit factory, well, back in the 30s when it opened, the Texas rabbit factory used to export all the rabbit meat to the UK. It all used to go to England, all the rabbit meat. And I think they used to keep the pelts for making hats and all that type of stuff out of rabbits. But apparently all our rabbits now go to China and we import the pelts now to make Akubra hats. Used to be, I read somewhere, 12 rabbit pelts to make an Akubra. So 12 rabbits, 12 bunnies, 12 Bugs Bunnies have gone into making that hat, poor buggers. Anyway, so yeah, so they're still made in Australia, but not from Australian rabbits. All our rabbits are in China getting coronavirus. So there you go. I remember there used to be rabbits everywhere. I hardly see many. I know, Phil. You never ever used to see rabbits in North Queensland. They were down on the border, on the New South Wales border around Texas and that, because I remember as a kid down there at Mama and Poppy's place, we used to go spotlighting most nights, and my older cousins used to, and the uncles and that, they'd have the 22s, and I'd be on the spotlight, and we used to go rabbit hunting. And we didn't just shoot the rabbits. We used to back in those days, Mama used to make rabbit stew, and actually they used to eat them. They used to eat the rabbits because back then you couldn't run into the butcher shop and all that type of stuff. They used to have their own meat, and rabbits were one of the staples there. Rabbit stew. I've eaten rabbit stew. I don't remember what it tastes like. I'm a bit fussy with meat now. I don't think I'd eat rabbit anymore. But I know I have eaten rabbit stew when I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I don't think I'd eat it now. I'm a bit fussy with meat. Big fella saying, I've lost 3 Akubra hats, getting a little expensive to replace them. Yeah, that was $273, mate. I looked around the price, and I'll tell you what, that's about standard price for an Akubra now. Gone are the days where you pick an Akubra up for $100. Those days are gone, well and truly. Wouldn't it be good? Where is the Akubra factory? Does anyone know where the Akubra factory is? Wouldn't that be good to go through there with a GoPro and do a film clip on how Akubra hats are made? When I was in the army, guys, our slouch hats, which what brand is this? Oh, I can't read. It's too faded. Yeah. That slouch hat there, my old army slouch hat, it's Mountcastle, Mountcastle, Mountcastle. They made a lot of the Australian army slouch hats. I did see some slouch hats that were actually Akubra brand, and if you had an Akubra army slouch hat, you were bloody on a winner there. Yeah, but Mountcastle was the normal brand of slouch hats, but every now and then you'd see an Akubra come through. They must have had a contract with Akubra there for a while. Ziggy Forrest owns Akubra now. Good stuff. And the good thing about Ziggy, I dare say that I bet I know, Ty, and I don't know this for a fact, I bet Ziggy bought them because he didn't want to see it go into foreign ownership, mate. He didn't want to see an iconic brand like Akubra go into foreign ownership. RM Williams now. I think a lot of that stuff's all made overseas now. Not all of it. Well, there you go. Blue Dog said his grade 1 slouch hat was an Akubra. A grade 1, guys, is a slouch hat that you would use for parades and ceremonial stuff, like your good slouch hat. A grade 2 slouchy. A grade 2. So on parade, if you don't know, guys, got a clip there. On a ceremonial parade, you always wore the side of your slouch hat up there, and that there would have the I haven't got it on there now. Where is it? Shit, it's not up there. The Australian Rising Sun badge, everyone. The Rising Sun badge, the big Rising Sun badge with the Australian Army in World War One. It was Commonwealth Military Forces under there, CMF. Or the Australian Imperial Force. There's been a few different same, but yeah, the Aussie Rising Sun badge would go there, and not always, but halfway through my army career, your corps badge went on the front. I had 2 different corps. That's Ordnance Corps, guys. I was Ordnance for like the last 6 years of my career, and before that, I was in Signals Corps. So we kind of got chucked out of SIGs and thrown over into Ordnance Corps. It was out of our control. But yeah, so a grade 1 slouch hat would have the side up, the Rising Sun badge there, your corps badge on the front, and that'd be your parade hat. A grade 2 is something you would wear out bush to protect you from the sun, and you would it had no badges on. You wouldn't have any badges on your grade 2 slouch hat. You could keep your puggaree on. Some blokes didn't even have a puggaree on theirs, but you keep your puggaree on. That there's called the puggaree, and you'd fold the sides down, put a bend in or like that, and that'd be your grade 2. I'll tell you what they were good for is when you come across a creek and that, you could dip your hat in there, give your horse a drink out of it. That's what the light horseman used to do. She actually holds water if you plug them holes. But it was good for scooping water up and throwing it over your head to cool down on that old grade 2 slouch hat. The puggaree, everyone. 7 folds in the puggaree. 7 folds for the 7 states of Australia. A bit like the 7 points on the star and all that. Everything had a meaning in the army. And I've got a great book there that Jace gave me. It was a bloody Customs and Traditions of the Australian Army. Gee whiz, it's a good read. It really is. Yeah. So there you go. Colour, yeah, sorry, Blue Dog, yes. and the other side there would have your unit colour patch on there. That was something that came in later in my career as well, was you wore your colour patch. And I haven't got 1 sig regiments here. It was always purple and blue and white, the SIG's colour patches. So, yeah, every unit in the Australian Army's got a colour patch. And if you ever see in World War I and that, they always had a colour patch on their sleeve, and it signified what unit they were from. And it's really interesting to get into. The 5th Light Horse was light blue over brown, I think. Was there light blue over brown rectangle? I should know that. I've got it out there somewhere, the 5th Light Horse colour patch. What's the program on the ABC? They've stopped selling Akubras to the smaller retailers, service stations and that. I wonder why there. Yeah, Frank Lowe and Sons it's like a rural shop. They sell bloody feed for cattle and all that, and you can go in and buy jeans and riding boots and beautiful collared long sleeve like cowboy shirts and Akubras and belts and all that type of stuff. A really good little store. So if I ever need a set of jeans and a nice long sleeve shirt and that for going out, I think that's where I'll be going. They've got some really smart looking clothing in there, and really good quality jeans too. You know, stuff that you can wear out. Chrissy's on. Afternoon all. Only a short time heading out for the wife's birthday dinner. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to your missus, Chris. Hope you have a bloody good night, mate. Really good. Guess what happened today? Roz went out yesterday and went out to dinner with a birthday, one of her friends or cousin's birthday. She came back this morning and I thought it was Roz's sister. Roz has had all her hair chopped off everyone, and she looks like her sister now, Aletha. Ollie has always had short hair. Roz has had her hair chopped off, and I mean, it's over her ears. It's short back and sides, and it suits her. She looks really good with it, I reckon. Yeah, so I went, holy shit, you look like your sister with the short hair. And I've never seen Roz with short hair like that before, guys. Roz has always had long hair since I've known her. Just incredible. And I've seen her with short back and sides, not as short as mine, but it actually suits her. And Roz was getting the shits with her hair and whatever, so she's had it all cut off now, and it'll be a lot easier to manage and that for her. And it actually suits her. Steve W, g'day, mate. I know a POM here in the UK, but have several Akubras and a Mountcastle slouch hat. There you go. Yeah, Mountcastle and Akubra are the two main brands here. I think Mountcastle also make fur felt hats. They're good. I don't mind them out camping in that. When I'm mowing the lawn, I find Akubras too bloody hot up here, guys, in North Queensland and that. I know a lot of people wear them, but if I'm mowing the lawn or going fishing and that, I prefer to wear a straw hat. They're lighter. They've got a chin strap on them, so if the wind blows, that you don't lose your hat, and it lets some air through to cool your head down. So I use straw hats and that when I'm out in the heat. But winter time, if I go camping, sitting around a campfire or whatever, that'll be my new camping hat there, the Akubra, and that should last me until the day I die. Now, if you look after Akubras, they'll last your lifetime. The other one's just got a bit smaller. He actually shrunk. And she even said, don't keep them in your car with the windows up, so the heat can actually shrink the felt. So if they're a little bit big, you can buy a spacer to put in, and so it fits your head properly. So it's better to get them a little bit big than too small, because you can buy a spacer or several spacers and put them around the thing, and it makes you nice firm fit on your head. The diddly donk from Serena is on, everyone. Kane Higgins, how are you, Kane? Jill said, I wear my trusty Bunnings hat when I mow the lawn. Yes, I've got similar. I've got a couple of Bunnings hats and Keen's hardware hats. I wear them. Nice big brim for me face and that. And just a lot cooler up here in the humidity and that. Speaking of humidity, it's kicking up. I went out and swept the shed out and vacuumed the shed and gave it a mop out today. And I tell you, as soon as you start moving now, you sweat. It's summertime's just around the corner. She's starting to starting to warm up. We had actually a heat wave warning the other day. It was bloody hot. I was out mowing the lawn, and I'll tell you what, it was hot. I don't know how hot it was, but it was a hot day, and humidity was up as well. It was nowhere near 40 or whatever, but when you get into the mid-30s and then chuck 90% humidity on, it's hot. Jeff Graham saying, so I gave it to my kids to play with in the backyard. Looked 5 years older and softer. That was 25 years ago. There you go. We got me and a cousin Daryl, we put a big double bunger cracker under Poppy's Akubra once and blew a hole straight through the top of it in the backyard down in Texas. And Poppy was furious with us. He was furious. It was his Akubra that he'd had for forever. And me and Daryl got it and put a big double bunger cracker under it when you were allowed to have crackers back in the early 70s. And we blew a hole through Poppy's hat, and he was pissed. I thought he was going to kill us. He was not happy at all. Never seen Poppy get angry with me before, except for that incident there. And we deserved it. We're only little kids. Thought it was funny to blow a hole in Pop's hat. We didn't know what had happened. We just thought, we'll put a cracker under Poppy's Akubra and see what happened. Well, she blew a hole in it, straight through the top of it. Bloody hell. Yeah, I still remember that, eh? Oh, Poppy was not happy at all. Hey, one thing I wanted to ask you, put a comment down. The new laws are coming in soon, and I got a message from YouTube the other day going, Australian government's bringing in new laws where kids under 16 won't be able to go on social media. They'll find ways around it. I know that. Let us know if you reckon that's a good idea. They said, oh, you might see your views. I said, I don't care. I don't have kids watching my channel anyway. So it's all adults and that. I think it's a good thing that Australia is taking a stance against social media and banning our kids under 16 from being on social media. Now, a lot of people will go, oh, they can't watch Bluey anymore and on YouTube and that. I don't know how we're going to get around that. I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked too far into it. But if you saw some of the shit that is on the other day, guys, and I put a thing up, Facebook's become almost like it's all right if you want to go in to the Buckaroony page and say, hey, guys, I'm having a live feed next Saturday night. It's fine for that, letting people know information. But if you want to go into your Facebook and scroll through and see what all your pages that you've liked and your friends, I've lost track of it. It just gets lost in all the garbage that they send you now. Recommended for you and this and that. And it just, the other day, I must have had 6 bikini chicks in a row come up, and I just went block, 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 block. It's just, that is what social media is becoming now. Is just these young women flaunting themselves on the internet. It's taken like I'm not on Instagram. I got away from Instagram, and I'm almost tempted to give bloody Facebook away again now. But it does come in handy every now and then for letting people know what's going on. But I'm off Insta now. That was just tits and ass. I think it's a good thing. Some of the crap that is on there, you go through the shorts, and the shorts have all blended into each other now. It's TikTok shorts, YouTube shorts, Facebook shorts, Instagram shorts. It just seems to be all of them mixed in thing. And you click on them and you just go through. And every now and then there'll be a funny one up there or one that you really like. I'll tell you now, probably 8 out of 10 of them are absolute crap. And some of it is almost X-rated. It's garbage. Some of the stuff these young females are doing now, just to bloody, I don't know, just to get attention and that. And I think it's fantastic. We get our kids away from that garbage. It is absolutely, it used to be just Instagram. Now it's everything. Every thumbnail you see on YouTube now is a chick in a bikini. Someone touring around Australia in a caravan and their missus has to be in the thumbnail in a bikini to try and get views. It's pathetic. It really is. And I've said that before. Just absolute crap. The crap that is on Facebook, everyone. There's some good stuff in there. I wish there was a way you could filter the garbage out, like all these women selling themselves and attention seeking. I had a message come through on Mr. Buckaroony the other day, like in Messenger. through Facebook Messenger. And I went, oh, who's, and I get most of them are all, hey, Buck, what do you think about this? Or where do you measure the boss legs? I don't mind getting messages like that. People asking me questions and all that type of stuff. There was one there. It was a Sheila in a bikini, obviously an American or something, has seen something on Facebook of mine, and it's just they go into message and they just send you a bikini shot. Oh, follow me on whatever. And I said something not very nice to her, and she actually came back to me and go, oh, that's no way to speak to a lady. And I just replied and said, you're no lady. I said, all you are is an attention-seeking piece of shit. I said, I didn't ask for you to send me that photo. I said, I'm not interested. And I said, piss off. I never want to hear or see from you again. And it was just some Sheila has seen something of me on Facebook and it's gone, oh, there's a guy. I'll send him a bikini picture. He'll start following me. That's how pathetic it's become. It really is. And as I said, people now are just using their missus in a bikini to get views, and it'll be a couple traveling around Australia in a caravan, but they've got to try and put a thumbnail up of her in a bikini. It's like, really? How about you just make some good content and people will watch you instead of trying to get views because your missus is in a bikini? It's pathetic. And I'm glad that our young kids under 16 aren't going to be subjected to that shit, because it is just what most young girls and that 13, 14, 15-year-old girls, and they see all these older girls in bikinis and flashing their tits and ass and all that type of stuff. It's not a good, and they call themselves influencers. Get away. Bad influencers. That's it. But I'm an influencer. Garbage. All you are is some bloody attention-seeking bitch in a bikini that's must be lacking a bit of attention in your life. And they're passing all this garbage onto our young kids, our 14, 15-year-old girls and that. And then our young boys and that. Just, I don't know. I just think we need to go back and be a bit old-fashioned, eh? Like, we weren't subjected to that stuff when we were young kids. A lot of you guys are older in the thing. Growing up in the 70s and the 80s, we didn't have all this social media stuff. You went out and made your own fun, and we weren't influenced by social media. And it's 90% of it's computer bots. Yeah, I know, Ty, but how do you stop it, mate? How do you stop getting bombarded? And I mean bombarded. It's not bombarded, carpet bombed by garbage that you do not want to see on Facebook. It is out of control, mate. I like to follow a lot of you guys on here. I never see your posts anymore, because it's just, by the time you try and filter through and block 30 different things that I see where they go, oh, this bloke's interested in camping, but stuff's popping up now that's just of totally no interest to me whatsoever, and I'm just getting bombarded with it. Wouldn't mind if they were sending me some, oh, here's a new camping channel you might enjoy, or a camping page or whatever. That wouldn't be so bad, but it's just gone way beyond that now. We're just getting bombarded with absolute garbage. A camel toe competition, John. Yeah, I know. The amount I've actually reported, and nothing happens. Yeah, you can report a video. It's X-rated. Some of it's actually X-rated. You can see what they had for lunch, and how it slips through, I do not know. It's actually pornography. And you report it and go, sexual exploitation, or not exploitation, sexual content, blah, blah. You never hear back. Facebook will never do anything. But if you say the F word on Facebook, they ban you for 30 days. But they allow all this X-rated garbage on. Just incredible. I've actually seen proper X-rated, like you'd be scrolling through Facebook and then an X-rated that must slip through the system somehow that their computers mustn't pick up. A full-on X-rated bloody 30-second video, and you think, that's why they don't want kids on there, because our kids will see that shit. You want to watch X-rated stuff, fine. Go to the pages that have that, okay? And as I said, the kids can't get into that type of stuff. Well, they shouldn't be able to anyway. But when it's popping up on Facebook and that, it's not good for our young kids. Bloody horrible, actually. Thought I could hear, it might be Rafa. Thought I could hear Roz. That's a great question, Buck, which needs to answer so we can all get back to reality. Absolutely, Roachy. I know some of you people here have got young kids. Tell us what you think. Are you happy for your 13 and 14? Now, listen, I know that a lot of people put their young kids down on an iPad and put Bluey on. I don't know if it's through YouTube or how they watch Bluey the dog, you know, the little dog that all the kids are going mad over at the moment, and cartoons. Hopefully they can still do that. But I know a lot of that stuff was on YouTube, watching Bluey through YouTube. Is there another way you can watch all the kids' cartoons and all that type of stuff on an iPad that isn't classed as social media? I don't know. Victor Mildrew. I've never heard of Victor Mildrew, Phil. Yeah. No, Roz is having a nap at the moment. I think she might have had a big night last night, so she's having a nap. I'll wake her up when the beef ribs are ready. Oh, geez, they look good too, and they smell good. I'm looking forward to getting into one of them, let me tell you. Gee, that's a good butcher shop. That's the other thing I wanted to say. There is YouTube for kids, only shows kid-rated stuff. That's fine, Chris. That's great, and I hope that the kids can still – I hope you can still get on YouTube Kids and be able to do that. Roz, I want to see your new hair. She said, no. Yeah, so hopefully everyone can put their kids on to watch Bluey and all that on YouTube Kids. But I think normal YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and that, yeah. Wait till you're 16 kids and then you can go on there and get bombarded with all the how are you cooking the ribs? I said before, Marky, I just had them in the slow cooker this morning, mate, with some barbecue, like a sauce and all that type of stuff. Did them in the slow cooker, and now I've wrapped them up in alfoil and put some barbecue rib sauce on them. Wrapped them in foil, and I'm just finishing them off in the oven now, mate, with a couple of baked potatoes. So we'll see how they go. Look up 1 Foot in the Grave, reference Victor Mildrew. I've never heard of him, I must admit. The Caravan, Ross, is sitting out in the rain at the moment. I brought it back from Cairns yesterday, and I can't get it back in the thing. The yard's too wet, and as soon as it hits the ramp, the wheels start spinning. So I've got to wait for Jamil to get back, and me. So when I operate it, we can give it a little bit of a helping hand. When it's dry, it can get it up the little ramp and into the carport, but she was spinning the wheels, unlike the Chinese thing that just blew apart. And Kim, who from the Best Aussie Caravan Mover, he said, if it is wet, you might, and it's against the resistance, you might find the wheel will spin, and it did that. It started spinning on the wet grass. So she's out in the rain at the moment. Got the awning out, and I'll put the awning out to try and dry it out anyway, but it's still raining since I got back from Cairns. Cairns flooded yesterday, guys. I don't know if you saw outside Harvey Norman, there were cars outside Harvey Norman, and the water was halfway up. So the cars got flooded up there. It was belting down in Cairns yesterday, absolutely belting down. And it belted down here in Innisfail for about half an hour just before. But at the moment, it's just a bit drizzly out there at the moment. So, yeah, so I have to leave the Caravan out. I don't want to put the awning away when it's wet, because if I don't put it out again, that's when all your mold and mildew starts forming. So you're better off leaving it out. Yeah, the Caravan's good. I've got the Kenny Hop is doing the bearings for me on the 16th. I'm going to go out to Kenny's workshop on the 16th. Ken's going to do check all my bearings, repack them, or if they look worn, we'll replace the bearings. So all the bearings are going to get done. And I've got the mains water is now working, so I can use the sink and flush the toilet and all that on mains water. The brass, the valve that the mains water goes through must have been blocked. So I had to buy a new one off eBay, and it's working again now. So I got that done. I've still got to try and still haven't got the new door on. I'm waiting for the new door to arrive. And then I'll get that new door fitted on there, because I ripped the old one off because Roz got stuck in the Caravan. The bloody plastic handle broke. And what else? Then I've got to try and get an auto elect to do some auto elect work, put a 2,000 watt inverter. I've got the kick-ass inverter and everything sitting out in the shed. and a little Victron thing. I want to put an external Anderson plug on. So I've got 200-watt solar panel on the roof, and I want to use my 200-watt Kings. So if I'm in the shade, I can run a portable solar panel out. Remembering I've only got 200 amps of lithium, you might go, that's not a lot of lithium. Well, it's enough for us because the fridge does not run off the batteries, guys. It's a 3-way fridge. It either runs off 240 gas, which we've got 2 9-kilo gas bottles up the front. It runs on gas. And when you're driving the car, the alternator will run it while you're driving. So I don't have to rely on the fridge chewing my lithium batteries up. The lithium batteries are there just for the lights, basically. Lights and whatever. If I get an inverter put in, so if we're off grid and we want to use, say, the air fryer, for example, to cook a couple of chicken Kievs up, we can turn the inverter on and use the air fryer. So I've got the inverter there ready to go, kick-ass inverter. Just cannot. I don't know if I've told you this. I ring up a couple of auto elects. No, we don't bloody deal with 240, mate. So I rang up electricians. No, we don't deal with Caravan. So I finally got onto a bloke and he goes, yeah, I can put an inverter in for you, mate. And he said, then I've got a mate who's a 240 Sparky. He can certify the work. So it's already wired up for an inverter. They just need to put the inverter in and hook it up. It's already wired up, ready to go. So I rang him 2 months ago, I rang him. He said, mate, I'm just over in my house at the moment. He said, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to walk over to my shed. I'll ring you back in 5 minutes when I get over and get where he books you in. That was 2 months ago. I haven't heard back from him yet. So his shed must be in Western Australia that he works out of. Never heard back from him. Ring you back in. We're talking about Australian stuff before. Ring you back in 5, mate. Never heard back from him. Like, really? But it's just shit service, isn't it? It really is. Winch mounted in the garage. What is? Oh, yes. Oh, well, that's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I see what you mean. Yes. I've got nowhere to put the winch, mate. I've got nowhere to mount a little winch. I've got nowhere to put a winch, mate, because the carport goes straight out to the back fence and no, it'd be no good. I see what you mean, but get one of those little bloody, like a little winch that you put on the ATVs and that, or on a quad bike. That would do the trick, yes. No, but it's all right, mate. As when Jamil gets back, we'll just give it a little bit of a helping hand because at the moment it's just spins. Grass is a bit wet, but we'll get around it. We'll get around it. Anyway, there was something else I wanted to tell you. Has everyone seen the West Aussie series? What are you thinking of that, guys? I'm not getting a lot of views on it. It's funny, you go over and you try and show off bloody nice part of the world. The people that are watching it are enjoying it, but yeah, you don't get a lot of views on stuff like that. Found that with our big trip down the thing. Like, you show all these beautiful beaches and you just get a couple of thousand views and that's about it. But if you sit out in the backyard and do a cook up or put the new fire pit up, you get 10,000 views. It's weird how things work, eh? Yeah, thanks, Wexy. I enjoyed making it, mate. Just a lot of people there. Yeah, Mr. Bullet has watched it. He's over there. He's over there in Free. Mr. Bullet, how good is the Fremantle? What's it called? Barracks Hill or whatever? The War Monument in Freo, mate. Really, really good. I've never been to that one before. I must admit, I stumbled across it a couple of weeks ago, and it was very, very good. And I was doing it up for Remembrance Day, which was the following day. West Aussie is good. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, a lot of people, and I thought a lot of people would enjoy it, especially if you haven't been to Western Australia. It's a nice place, guys. Put it on your bucket list. I know it's a long way away. If you can't drive over there, maybe save up, fly over, hire a little buzzbox car like we did, and you can still see a lot of it. You probably won't get up north, but if you want to do the southwest, Perth and Busselton and all those beautiful little, Margaret River Winery and all that, yeah. The War Memorial on the hill, yeah, it's called Barracks Hill or something, Mr. Bullet. Kings Park's on the bucket list, absolutely, Blue Dog. That is, you should see the names there, mate, all West Aussie. Did everyone see the Gallipoli clip I put up this morning where he stands up and says, "Remember who you are, men from Western Australia, men of the 10th Light Horse," and they go over and all get mowed down. But if you go to that memorial at Kings Park in Perth, there's a section there that's just got 10th Light Horse, and there's, I don't know how many names on there, a lot, and it was probably all from that Gallipoli, especially the Battle of the Neck, where they just kept charging and charging. Oh, the British have got to land at Suvla. I don't think the British were copping any resistance down at Suvla, and they were just, the Aussies and the Kiwis and that were just getting slaughtered. But that was a brutal part of World War One Gallipoli. Trench warfare, hand to hand. It doesn't get much more brutal than that, as was the Western Front as well. Bloody horrible war, World War One. Someone said the other day, we lost 61,000 in World War One, the Aussies. The Ukrainians have lost a lot more than that just in 2 years, guys, the Ukraine war. And it's something we sit back now and don't think much of. The Russians aren't far off 1 million soldiers. They're up in the 870,000 or something soldiers lost. The Russians. That's nearly 1 million guys in 2 years. Boy, oh boy, that is a horrible war too, the Ukrainian war. It's terrible. Let's hope that comes to an end sooner rather than later. The drone warfare over there, nothing's safe. Nothing's safe. Blokes can't even hide in a foxhole anymore. Used to be, you could shelter from artillery and that to some extent if you had overhead protection and that. The drones now, they just fly the drones through the little holes, and you just cannot hide from anything over in that war. It's pretty scary. It really is. Yes, that's why we don't want to go to war, because you'll be careful what you wish for. It's all the modern weaponry and that now. It's horrific. It really is. Yeah. Hey, Russell, how are you, mate? Rusty Candy Adventures. I got a new fire thing this morning. When I was at the Perth 4-wheel drive show, talking to a guy called Greg, and their main thing is the Smart Tech 6 hot water systems for camper trailers, caravans, camping grounds, all that type of stuff. So you hook it up to a gas bottle. We had a Smart Tech 6 hot water system on our first drifter trailer. Worked really, really well. They were there again, but he's branched off into cooking gear now, fire pits and all that. Anyway, I got talking to him. He said, "Hey, Buck, how are you? And I follow your channel and all that." And Kane Higgins, "Hey, Buck, if you're coming through Serena one day, I'll shout your pie at the Serena Bakery, Kane. How about that?" Kane just sent me an email. Anyway, they've gone into some cooking gear and top end camp gear, I think it is. Top end camp gear. So that there is a bit like the King's one I've got, guys, but it's made out of proper metal and all that type of stuff. Folding legs, carry bag, comes with gloves and all that type of stuff. Designed here in Australia. He's got a bloke that used to make this stuff. And like everything, he said we had to go to China. Otherwise, the prices, it wasn't viable. So now they send their designs to China and they get them made in China. But see, it's got the lip and all that around. He said, we put a little lip around it so your sausages don't roll off into the dirt and all that type of stuff. Great little fire pit. He said, "Buck, when you get back home," he said, I'll send you an email now. He said, "Contact me. I want to send you over one of our new little folding barbecue plates that you put over a fire or charcoal or whatever." So he said, I want to send you one. I said, "No, it's all right, mate." So I got home and I bought one. I'm trying to get away from being given stuff for free now. A lot of people frown upon that. I'd rather spend $99 and buy it myself rather than get given it. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there accept stuff, and I used to, but I don't know. You just cop a lot of flack when you get shit for free. So I bought that. I'm going to do a review on it. And it's a bloody... I've seen one over there. They are a good bit of kit, guys. $99 delivered. And it comes with a really good canvas bag, the fire pit with the folding legs and all that type of stuff. Folds up nice and flat. And a good set of gloves so that you can move it on and off the fire. For $99 delivered, That's got a little bit of weight. How heavy is that actually? There'll be 3 or 4 kilos there, maybe 5 kilos. And, so the postage alone would have been $25 or whatever. And it was $99 delivered, which is pretty good. That's why Dave got out of making Camp Cube fire pits, guys, here in Australia. The cost, he said, it's not worth it. But he said you've got to charge $800 for a fire pit now. Every time you put an order in for some metal, your laser cutter, every time you get an invoice, everything's gone up. And he just gave it away. Said not worth trying to make it here in Australia anymore. And that's exactly why they went overseas, to try and keep the costs down. Still very good. Still good quality, guys. Wait till you see it. I'll be doing a clip on that. When the weather finds up, I'm going to go down the beach, start a little fire, probably do some smash burgers or whatever, and do a review on that little folding fire pit and let you know what I think of it. But I saw one at the Perth 4-wheel drive show, really, really good. And he's got a really, really good folding fire pit that goes flat too. Really good one. So, yeah. What's it called? Down. Top End Camp Gear, I think it is, guys. Go into there, topendcampgear.com.au, and they got some good stuff in there, fire pits and that little folding thing. But there'll be a clip coming up soon. Just wait for the weather to clear up and we'll be right. Yeah, Craig, I know. You do a more honest review if you buy it. I know. And, Cam, one credit to Cam and Tiff, they got this Caravan not given to them. It's been lent to them for 12 months to do their trip around Australia. And he said, here's a Caravan, borrow it for 12 months. Let people know what you think of it. So that's the way they get a popular YouTube channel to promote his product. And that's how it works, guys. I used to do stuff for Crazy and Drifter back in the day, and that it helps us. We get a little bit out of it, get some stuff to do, create content and everything. And it's good. It gives exposure to the company that makes it too. What people are worried about is if you get something for free, you're not going to say anything bad about it if it's got some flaws. Well, I did. I always tried to be honest when I was doing my reviews. But if you pay for it yourself, the company can't really come back to you and go, oh, mate, you gave us a bit of a bad rap, take that down. No, mate, I've paid for this. I'm doing an honest review on it. And I think if you just try and be honest, and people appreciate that. And that's what I've prided myself on, is try to be honest and give honest reviews. We bought that Jawa Sirocco Caravan full price, and I was brutally honest with that. You all know what I think of that. Started off good, turned sour towards the end. If they can get an out of their warranty, they will. And the other thing about the Jayco, it's a 7-year-old Jayco, but we paid for it. We bought it secondhand off another couple. We paid full price secondhand for it. So if something goes wrong with it, I'll tell you. I've got nothing to hide. I'm not bloody getting any kickbacks from Jake just because I've got a Jayco now. I'm certainly not getting any kickbacks from Jayco or anything like that. You'll find a lot of these people that have 10% discount codes. I used to have a 10% discount code with Travel Buddy and iTech World. I don't know if they exist. I don't think those codes hold any water anymore, but I was getting no kickbacks out of that, except iTech World will give me a discount on my batteries, and they did give me a free battery there. And when I bought the 2 batteries for the camper trailer to kit the old camper trailer out, they gave me a big discount off them and all that. So I was getting a kickback out of that. But the 10% discount code benefited you guys there. I wasn't getting any money from that. Same as Travel Buddy. I just said, mate, any chance of a 10% thing? He said, yeah, mate, yeah, no worries. So I was doing that sheerly to bloody help you guys out there. A lot of the guys out there, if you see them, I won't mention names, but a lot of the channels out there now got 10% discount codes. Yeah, you get a 10% discount, but they get money for every sale. That's how they make their money and all that type of stuff. A lot of YouTubers do it as a business now. They get in with these companies and they get a bit of a kickback money-wise from it. I've never been given money from anyone. I wouldn't accept it anyway. Some free stuff, yeah, over the years. Got some free stuff from Drifter and Crazy Dog and all that, but I used to really enjoy promoting the items because I believed in them, if you know what I mean. So, and that's how it works. And we both benefit. I got a bit of free stuff, and the company got some good exposure. And I know for a fact they do get good exposure through my channel. You know, Crazy Dog used to ring me up and go, "Oh, mate, I've got a lot of sale bags because of your last YouTube thing." And Jen from Shady Gear always said, "Oh, I've had so many people buying stuff off me, and I always mention your name and that." I love hearing that type of stuff, and that's why I do it. But I certainly don't expect stuff for free. I bought some Shady Gear stuff for this caravan. I actually went online and bought it. Next thing you know, I got a refund. Jen said, "You're not bloody paying for that," but I did originally pay for it, and she refunded the money to me. I actually went online because I knew if I rung Jan up and said, "Hey, Jan, can I just order some?" She would have gone, "Oh, you're not paying for it." So I ordered it online, paid for it, and she ended up reimbursing me. But I have bought some Shady Gear stuff in the past myself and paid full price for it. But yeah, speaking of which, I've got to get out. I've got a really good clip coming up on the Caravan, and it's to do with Shady Gear. I've got some great ideas on how to keep the sun off your Caravan, guys. And Jan's got a new wall now, a 3 meter drop that will keep the sun off the front and the rear of the Caravan. I'll show you what I've done to be able to mount them to that Caravan. I've just got to wait for some decent weather now, so we'll see how we go. Ed's go. G'day, Ed. How are you? They're having a 2-for-1 deal for VP at the pub this weekend. Mate, they could have a 10-for-1 deal. I still wouldn't buy the shit. It is shocking. It is the worst beer in the world. I'm on a Heineken Zeros at the moment. That's nicer than VB. At least it's drinkable. Just. Anyway, Chrissy's off. Mate, have a great night tonight with your wife, and tell her happy birthday for everyone. And I hope you have a good night, mate. Speaking of which, I better go and check my ribs that are in the oven and the potatoes that are in there. So we'll see how we go. Roz is up now, so I'll go out and have a chat with her. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on and say good day. There was nothing on the agenda. Don't forget, next Saturday night, week from today, this one is going to be a beauty. I've got Brad Howell on, guys, and Tofty from Zone RV, and we're going to talk about the whole subject will be about what we need to do to get our vehicles, our four-wheel drives, our whatever you've got, and camper trailers, caravans, etc., ready for a big trip. Brad's a mechanic by trade, guys. Brad will let us know what we need to look for and what we should be telling our mechanics to look for, what we should be doing ourselves, what we can do ourselves, what we should be doing when we stop for a rest on the side of the highway instead of just going over having a tinkle on a tree and jumping back in, what we should be checking. Halt parades, we used to call them. Blue Dog, remember them, the old halt parades? First parades, halt parades, and last parades on your vehicle. You didn't just park the vehicle in the shed in the army and bloody throw it didn't have keys, but, and then throw your G2 logbook back at the transport sergeant. There's certain things you had to do at the end of your big trip, during your big trip, and certainly before you started your big trip. Every morning, first parade, checking your wheel nuts, checking your oil, checking your water, all that type of stuff, making sure your bloody headlights were clean, your windscreen was clean, all that. We'll talk about all that. Brad's going to go into the mechanical side of it, and Tofty's going to tell us about what to look for with your camper trailers and your caravans. Tofty's just done a big trip up to Cape York. Tofty will be on talking about Caravan. I know a lot of yous on here got caravans and camper trailers, so we'll be covering all that type of stuff, talking about camping, all that type of stuff, tapping into the knowledge of Tofty and Brad. It's going to be fantastic. And let me tell you, Brad is a very, very knowledgeable guy. He's a motor mechanic for 40 years. He knows his shit. So we're going to tap into Brad's knowledge, and hopefully we can all learn something from it. I'm sure if anyone gets through next Saturday night and goes, "Oh, I didn't learn it, I knew all that," I'll be very surprised. I'm sure Brad will. Yeah. One for the drain pipes, yes. VB for the drain pipes, exact. I always check the wheel bearings for heat on a long trip. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Throw your hand. How hard is it to throw your hand on your wheel bearing And if you can't hold your hand on there, you know you've got some problems with your wheel bearing. If it's just warm, that's fine. But if you put your palm of your hand on your wheel bearing and you scorch your hand, you know you've got some problems in there. You probably need to get them repacked, or you need new bearings or whatever. So we'll talk all about that. Jack Turtle's on. G'day. It's going to be a good night. It will. It'll be a fantastic night. So that's next Saturday night. And then on Monday night, the 16th of December, what is it? It's the 30th of November, so it's nearly December. Hasn't this year gone quick? Pete and Cam. Speaking of bloody Cam Wild, guys, Pete and Cam are on. It's a Monday night. I think Pete's probably starting his Christmas holidays, and Cam's coming around to Pete's place for a barbecue, and they got back to me and said, Buck, we're having a barbecue, so it'll be probably, I'm tipping 6 o'clock Queensland time, 7 o'clock Southern time, 4 o'clock Pete and Cam time. So they can come on, do a 2-hour live feed from 4 to 6, and then we finish the live feed, and then they can go out and get into their barbecue and all that type of stuff. So we've got a 2 or 3 hour time difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. So we've got to take that into account. So put that in your diaries, everyone. Monday night, the 16th of December. Pete from WA Camping Adventures and Cam Wild from Wild Touring, guys. Two of my favourite sand gropers are coming on at the same time. There'll be lots of laughs. There'll be a few beers drunk, and it's going to be fantastic. We'll tap in. If you've got any questions for Cam and Pete, come on that night, the Monday night, and bloody ask them. If you want to ask Cam something about his caravan and all that type of stuff, want to ask Pete some questions. We'll find out where they're going next year, what direction they're going with their YouTube channel, what big trips they've got planned. We know Cam's doing a lap, and he's going to come over here to the East Coast, which is fantastic. Let's find out what Pete's got in the wind for next year, where he's got some plans on going with his mates and that. So if you don't subscribe to those two guys, WA Camping Adventures and Wild Touring, guys, get on. They're the two maniacs that are going to be on Monday night, the 16th. So we've got two really good live feeds. And then after that, I'm pretty sure Gidgy Gorilla's going to be up here, and we're going to do our Christmas live feed, probably from the shed. Might have a few giveaways, a couple of Pete McMurtry whips and stuff like that. We'll do some Christmas giveaways and all that type of stuff. I better start rounding up some prizes for that. I'm sure there'll be some Gidgy Gorilla gear going, some Pete McMurtry whips and whatever. We'll see how we go. The podcast with Pete, he said it'll be out in December, so I don't know exactly what date, Roachy, but that's a 3-hour marathon, guys. I did a podcast with Pete in Western Australia the other day at Pete's house. It went for 3 hours. I had to nudge Pete in the rib a few times. He fell asleep because I was just jibber-jabbering. I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of you guys on here may have heard some of the stories before. I know a lot of Pete's followers probably don't know me, and I think they'll find my stories, talk a lot about my army days, my police days, my corrections days, a couple of funny stories there, and then we get onto the camping side of things and the YouTube side of things there. Goes for 3 hours. I think you'll find it a good listen, and some of you guys probably heard the stories before, but I know a lot of the guys that follow Pete will probably go, who's this diddly donk from Queensland? And hopefully they'll find it very, very interesting. And I'm sure there'll be some stories on there that even you guys haven't heard. So let me know what you reckon. It'll be out soon. Pete's editing up as we speak, and he said it'll be out well before Christmas. So keep your ear to the ground. WA Camping Adventures, Every Man's Podcasts, and I'm going to be on there. Speaking of which, I've got another podcast coming out soon, done from the Oasis Veterans thing. It's only a 20-minute podcast. I did this a couple of months ago down in Townsville. They contacted me, and they want to interview veterans and people that have left the army and talk about transitioning from the military into civilian street and what we did when we got out of the army. I got out of the army 22 years ago. So as you know, I went into the cops and corrections and that. So they're interviewing a lot of different military people and what they've done since they've got out of the army and how hard they found the transition and all that. So when I get the link to that, I'll put it up on the Mr. Buccarini Facebook site, guys, so you can have a listen to that. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It only goes for 20 minutes, that one. But the one with Pete, it's good. Even when we finished, Pete looked at me and said, mate, that was brilliant. He said, that's one of my best ones yet. Pete was really, really impressed with it. And I think Pete learned a lot about me too. Pete doesn't know a lot about Mr. Buckaroony except what he sees on my YouTube channel. Pete doesn't know what I did in the army and all that type of stuff. So Pete found it quite interesting. He said, geez, Bucko, he said, I learned a lot about you today. So I hope a lot of people do. I hope people learn a bit about what I did and what I've been through and all that type of stuff. Anyway, it's always good to look back and try and remember, especially the funny stuff. A few funny stories in there, guys. I think you'll find funny. Woolies is on strike. So I may be available to watch Pete and Cam live chat. Yeah, well, there you go. Woolies is on strike. There you go. Fuller's on strike. He's out camping at the moment. He works at Woolies, guys, in Kingaroy. But Steve and Annie are out camping at the moment, so he's not working this weekend. Yeah, I know. Pete's laugh is infectious, isn't it? It's good, and I think we all need a laugh these days. There's so much negative stuff on social media, and listen to Pete's podcast. Pete's just such a positive person, guys. He rubs off on you. He's just a positive guy. He loves having a laugh. He really cherishes mateship. I know that for a fact with Pete. You see how he just loves being out with the boys, and he really cherishes having close mates. And you've got to surround yourself with good people. And I keep saying that. Pete surrounds himself with some really good lads, and it's the way he deals with the stresses of work, the stresses of life in general. And Pete just loves it. And next year, Ty Fenwick, you're going to be on again, mate. It was really good having a chat with you the other day on the 12-hour marathon live feed. How good was that one, guys? Gee whiz, there's some interesting people on that. If you haven't seen that and you're sitting down and you're going, just scroll through and have a listen to some of the stories. Mike Blakely at the start, ex-US Marine. Jennifer G. Jack Turtle was on there, guys. Have a listen to Jack, how he got the name Jack Turtle. He doesn't even know. And Marky Lavelle was on there. There's a few of you on here that were on there. Roachy was on there. Who else was on there? That it was a fantastic day. It really was. And Slacken was on there. I know Slacken was on a high after that, and I was too. I couldn't sleep that night. I was so excited. It was a great day. It really was. And we're going to make that an annual thing now. We're going to make it an annual thing, everyone. Someone said, why don't you turn it into a charity marathon, guys, and do a 12-hour live feed same time next year, but do a charity thing. Maybe it's something we can look at. 13.5 Blue Dog. Yeah, it went over to, it was about 12.5, I think. So, yeah, Ty was good, and we're going to tap into Ty's knowledge and have a bigger chat with Ty next year. Going to have Ty one-on-one for a live feed next year, guys. I think we'll run out of time before the end of the year, but Ty's keen to come on and have a jibber, and we'll talk about all these F-trucks and these Raptors, and he's a wealth of knowledge as well that we can ask Ty heaps of questions. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Going to go and check dinner. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you next Saturday night with Tofty and Brad Howell. That one's going to be a beauty. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you again soon, eh? See ya.